What it do? Welcome to HoodSoul Wisdom. First and foremost, I appreciate you tapping in. I hope this episode finds you in the very best of every single aspect possible, including but not limited to mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Those are and forever will be my highest hopes and prayers for you and yours. I'm your host, Ruby. Glad you came through to Enlighten and Thrive. This episode is brought to you by Forever Wise Coaching. Align and thrive with your health and wellness in mind. And Forever Wise Apparel, conscious wear with the essence of a G. Episode 27, Enlighten. So I got 3 goals for myself when it comes to this work I'm doing, to this podcast, to anything that I really put out there, right? And I call this work E cubed, or e to the 3rd power, mathematical terms. But what I'm here to do is aid anybody who comes in contact with me to get enlightened, empowered, and ultimately to evolve. And when I say evolve, I mean evolve in consciousness. And when I say evolve in consciousness, I mean to teach y'all how to think on purpose, how to imagine on purpose, how to use your mind on purpose, how to master your mind instead of becoming a slave to it or actually remaining a slave to it. So when I use the word enlighten, what that means is to give someone greater knowledge or understanding about a subject or situation. Now, we all have our own perception of life. However, it is paramount for us to understand life isn't just about this 3D or what we perceive as this physical reality. There's much more to life. And all of this lies in aspects that are not fully available to the 5 senses. It lies in aspects that lie within us, inside of us, our actual substance, our being. And we call our being so many things. Some of us call it spirit, soul, awareness, source. But it's what's within, that part of you that no matter what, still remains, if that makes sense. And I hope by this time it truly does. This is a knowledge or understanding I want to bestow on you. And I was gifted this over 10 years ago. However, all the pieces to the puzzle recently came together. And when I say recently, I mean recently. And they're still coming together because honestly, I don't got shit all figured out yet. But I could still give you what I got and take you on my journey as you embark on yours. Had I embarked on this journey early last year, I still wouldn't have it as down-packed as I do now. And I can't even imagine doing it before because my consciousness has been evolving. I've been evolving and my work has been evolving with me, my perception, which is what we're here for. We're here to create. We're here to evolve. We're here to expand. Everything around us is dynamic, never static. And what I want to do is I want to give you the big picture about life. LIFE as a whole. And I broke it down into episodes lately, but I want to put it all together. I had to break it down into episodes, the whole Play to Win series. That way you had a brief idea of what I was talking about so that when I put it all together, I don't have to go that much in depth. And on some real shit, it's like some Matrix type of shit here. I remember but I remember I've seen posts that said The Matrix wasn't a movie, it was a documentary. And that shit hits. I'm gonna be real though, I haven't watched all the movies or none of that. Nevertheless, my perception still stands. My philosophy, because that's what it is. This is my philosophy. These are my ideas. As you guys know, my philosophy revolves around Pac, revolves around psychology. And Pac said reality is fake. Dreams are for real. This is the realest shit I've heard. Reality is fake. Dreams are for real. Most of us are living in a reality that's based on fear, worry, doubt, pain, hurt, anxiety, all these negative emotions. And we perceive this reality through our thoughts. Our thoughts give meaning to everything. We judge everything and we assign meaning to everything through our perception. Our perception is formed from our upbringing. And you're going to hear me say this again and again, but life is a game of energy. Energy is our thoughts and our emotions. Energy is our self-talk. Energy is the stories we entertain within our mind. within ourselves. At the moment, most of us are living in a game that was created for us. It was given. And this game is like a maze, and it's played by our ego, that part of ourselves we perceive as I. And this I, most of us identify with, is blinded by the mitote, by the smoking mirrors, by this fake ass reality that we keep feeding. Philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. It is a theory or attitude held by a person or organization that act as a guiding principle for behavior. So again, this is my philosophy about life, the way I see it. And I want to share it because a lot of us know and feel that there's something more out there than just this regular ass day-to-day living that is more than likely unfulfilling than this fucking rat race that got us running in circles in competition. Because one thing that I learned is I'm not here to compete. I'm here to create. I'm a motherfucking creator. And I'm gonna tap into all my motherfucking creative juices till I get what I want. I got specific wants and desires that I know for a fact I'm gonna achieve because that's where my mind's at already. That's what I know to be mine. So let me take you on a trip real quick. And as I take you on this trip, I'm going to read what I've written just so I could stay within the same lines of how I want to explain this. So based on my life experience of growing up in poverty, where cycles of violence are perpetuated daily and perceived as a norm, I have created a philosophy that illustrates our life in simple terms. So game and thug life are terms commonly used across ghettos. Many youth, especially those who are part of a gang, relate to these terms and use them daily. Life itself is referred to as a game. Life is referred to as a game because in many senses, it's all about survival. Therefore, it becomes a win or lose situation. Thug life is a life full of struggle and oppression. As stated in these lyrics, only one life to lead, a fast life full of greed, criminally addicted, infested since a seed. We all die, breed, bleed like humans. Towns run by young guns, outlaws and truants, shit's deep. This perception of life depicts pain and struggle. It is gathered from circumstances of an impoverished environment where death, drugs, and youth violence are the norm. These lyrics are of high relevance because those of us who listen to this music do so because we relate to the message. The lifestyle of a person who can relate to these words is a harsh one, where we feel trapped as if there's no way out. Shit's deep is a perception that it's out of our control. It cannot be easily escaped nor ignored. This lifestyle is deeply embedded within us. It seems as if it's all we know, simply because we can't remember the us prior to domestication. However, as Tupac states in another song, once a motherfucker gets an understanding of the game and what the levels and the rules of the game are, then the world ain't no trick no more. The world is a game to be played. So now we're looking at the world from like behind us. Niggas know what we gotta do. We just gotta put our mind to it and do it. So with that said, there is hope. It's just a matter of understanding what the game really is and how it is fabricated. So if the world is a game to be played, typically, most who play a game play to win, or at least for a favorable outcome, right? And that's where that whole play to win series comes in. If you haven't tapped into that, I suggest you do so. So when playing any game, one must know the rules of the game and be strategic as well. And strategy involves wisely devised tactics or forms of action to achieve a goal. In this case, winning. It's like a game of chess. It requires one to put our mind to it and do it, to truly weigh out every single option and every single move executed in the game. So what if I told you I figured out the motherfucking game and the levels? If you've been tapping in, you already know. And what if I told you this shit ain't no motherfucking trick no more? And what if I told you that, yeah, all you really gotta do is put your motherfucking mind to it? Because that's exactly what the fuck I'm saying. So check it out. For the purpose of my work, the terms game and thug life have been made into acronyms that are suitable for the following self-developed philosophy, in which I argue the nutty psych is paramount due to the game and thug life created for us. The phrase nutty psych is paramount is broken down as follows. Nutty means crazy, insane. It's the loquera. Think about it. When someone's with what we call the business, what we say, that fool's crazy, which translates into nutty, right? Psych refers to our mind state, how we think, how we act, how we perceive the world. As far as paramount, that's self-explanatory. It means something that is more important than everything else. It's supreme. In other words, this phrase refers to deviant, abnormal behavior being of utmost importance or relevance and acceptance in today's society. The behavior discussed in this context includes, but is not limited to, drug use, crime, gang banging, violence, corruption, greed. The acronym for the word GAME is as follows: given attractions, actions, advertisements of materialism and money within the mass media that methodically misguide, enslave, endanger, and eradicate us. This acronym denotes anything within the mass media, from music that glamorizes money, sex, drugs, and violence, to movies, shows, and video games which portray people of color in a stereotypical manner, and advertisements outside of our schools and everywhere in low-income neighborhoods that have to do with controlled substances, fast food, fashion, luxury, and materialism. Think about it, like Pac said, I got my diploma, but I never learned shit in school. What they teach us in school, nothing but fucking lies. For the most part, we're taught that our people were taken over, subjugated, and oppressed. Basically, how we ain't shit. We're taught to glorify and aspire to be like others who don't have our skin complexion. We don't learn about how our people were architects, astrologists, engineers, mathematicians. Nah, none of that. We're strategically gamed up to believe we are inferior. Additionally, we live in poor environments, barely surviving. Yet all we see and hear about is materialistic gains. We're out here living poor, racing for materialistic shit. Although meanwhile, these mainstream rappers and studio gangsters are talking about killing our own people, fancy cars, bitches, drugs. That's how we're misguided, endangered, enslaved, and ultimately eradicated. You think it's a motherfucking coincidence we all tend to think, behave, and look alike? Ponder on that shit real quick. That's where thug life comes in. And thug life connotes trauma, terror, torture, hate, hopelessness, unleashed gruesomely, grandly, living in impoverished, fatal environments. Shit gets deep with this one. The thug portion results as the aftermath of the game, as mentioned above. It is the repercussions of all that is fed to the mindset of the ghetto youth. Thug includes crime, racial and interracial gang violence, racism, police brutality. All this hate and hopelessness becomes a cycle as it is unleashed on us and by us due to our environment. The LIFE, life, denotes the impoverished environments created for people of color by the system due to marginalization, like the ghettos composed of projects, fast food restaurants, liquor stores, as well as a state of erosion everything seems to be in. In short, the nutty psyche is paramount due to the game, which targets the mindset, and thug life, which relies on structural factors. And that is a brief portrayal of my philosophy. And that's just a brief portrayal of my philosophy, right? So I want you to picture it like this. When you play a video game, and I'm going to use this example a lot because that's what it is. When you play a video game, right, there are all kinds of fucking traps set for you in the video game so you can lose. And up until you learn the game and you play it several times, you begin to know what are your setbacks? What are your drawbacks? What you could rely on, where to go, where to not go, how to get bonus points, whatever a game does. So essentially, that's what the game is. That's what this life is. And the game is a game of attention. It's whatever your attention gets hooked on. That's the game. And we're living in a fucking maze. We're chasing everything outside of us. And by chasing everything outside of us, we neglect what's within. We have no knowledge of what's within. And because of all the pain and the struggle we've been through, some of us can't even stand going within because that shit hurts. We've been through so much shit that it's like, fuck going through memory lane. Nah. But the thing is, when you don't release all that shit that's within, you can't rise any higher because you get stuck in the same loops. And I've said this before. Think what you thought, do what you did, get what you got. It all starts in the motherfucking mind. But our mind, we're a slave to it. We don't know how to think on purpose. We go out here just consuming all types of energy in every which way that we forget we're here to create our own energy. We forget how to trust ourselves. We forget how to believe in ourselves. And when I say we, I'm speaking in general. But we forget to tap into that version of us that's here to create, that's here to do more. Why? Because we're fucking gamed up. We're gamed up by everything outside of us. It's a fucking maze. And what I'm here for, I'm trying to shoot the shit. I'm trying to teach you how to get out of that motherfucking maze. Because it's all a mental prison. That's all it is. It's just mental. And once you start catching on to this shit, then your mind begins to expand. You know it's a motherfucking game. You know that you could change shit just by the way you think, because you're the one and only that runs this shit. And if you're listening to me right now, somehow, some way, you knew you wanted to expand your consciousness. You knew there was something else out there. And me, I'm just a motherfucking messenger. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper into what all of this is. I'm going to go ahead and create another episode as far as the enlightened portion of it, because I want to make it more visual, at least to where you could imagine it in your mind as far as what I'm talking about. But this episode's already running a little long, so I got you in the next one. But yeah, enlightenment. I want to enlighten you as far as what the fuck is going on, so then I could help empower you, so then you could evolve in consciousness and become that fucking creator that you truly are. Because that's my motherfucking goal.
Before I wrap it up, right? Make sure y'all tap in. Follow me on IG at HoodSoul Wisdom, at Forever Wise Coaching, and at Forever Wise Apparel for updates, giveaways, and merch drops. And if you haven't yet, do yourself a favor and click the link on the bio at HoodSoul Wisdom to download 8 affirmations to help you tap in and align with your essence. And subscribe to the email list so you're always up on game with what I got coming next. I appreciate you coming through, and as always, may the higher powers guide you, protect you, and fully equip you with a pure mind, good health, and a solid spirit. With much love, respect, and sincerity, I'm out.